Welcome to Local Music Sunday nights, where we talk to local musicians. We play their music. We hear what's going on. Now, Robert Zapata, am I saying it right? Zapata.
That's right.
From Cannibal and the Headhunters is not from San Diego, as you can tell by his hat. Padre fans, don't be too ticked off, okay?
Yeah.
But Robert, welcome to the show. How many years have you been in Cannibal? How many?
Over 55 years now. Yeah. It's been quite a number of years. Yeah.
Have you ever held a real job?
When I think I was 19 was the last time I was working at an auto spring supply company where they make leaf springs for a car.
Yeah.
And I still got the burn marks from it on my arms when I used to work there. That's how hot they were. And I can't get rid of that. You have to excuse me for a second. Let me close this door right here.
Oh, yeah, no, it's fine. It's okay. Chicks dig scars anyway. You've been married. So you've been with your wife for 50. You guys have been together for 55 years, right?
Yeah, we've been together 55 years and married 50. Our 51st anniversary is February 23rd of 2024.
I can't do the math. I'm not a math major. So what was the year 55 years ago? Oh, good. That's both of us.
hold on.
69?
Yeah, 1968, 69, something like that. But around the same time, I started playing with Cannibal.
Yeah, that was a really good year for you. You should go back and buy some fine wine from that time.
Yeah, absolutely. I should.
Well, look, Cannibal and the Headhunters, let's see, East LA, right?
That's right. East Los Angeles based group.
1964?
1964. That was the year the group was formed by Frankie Cannibal Garcia and three background singers that he had with him at the time. This guy, Robert and Joe. There was another guy, but I forget his name. Yeah, Robert and Joe were the two that kind of stuck with Frankie for that first maybe 18 months of the group's life.
Yeah.
Then Frankie started making personnel changes, and that's when I came into the picture with a lot of help from my older brother Richard, and Cannibal were really good friends.
So back then, 65, they played with some big groups.
Oh yeah, the group wasn't together maybe 5-6 months, and they were already sharing the stage with Smokey and Marvin Gaye and the Rolling Stones. 3 months before the Beatles tour, Frankie had the opportunity to have a small southern tour with the Rolling Stones, the Beach Boys, Marty Robbins, Sonny James, and the Righteous Brothers, and of course Cannibal and the Headhunters. So and then 3 months later is when the Beatles tour came in.
And Beatles 65 is one of my all-time favorite albums. So that must have been what they were playing.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And at that time, during that tour, the King Curtis band was backing up Frankie and his background singers at that time.
Oh, okay.
He didn't have his own group formed at that time.
Yeah. I know the list is long. It's extensive. You probably have forgotten half the people you have backed up in 55 years.
Yeah.
But can you share with us some of them? I know you got a list there.
Yeah, I have a list here that
you've been the band.
We'll keep on hand, and just a quick run through, starting with Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees, of course, and
awesome.
Mentioned I did a lot of help with his new album that's out right now, and liner notes and pictures and that kind of thing for the inside sleeve of the album.
That's great.
But Mickey Dolenz, Dennis Yost from Classics 4, Fabian, I know, and it's funny. He was in a movie called North to Alaska with John Wayne, and John Wayne was one of the guys I really wanted to meet, before he passed or something. I never got a chance to meet him. I'm disappointed about that.
Yeah, I'd like to have met John Wayne and Ronald Reagan.
Of course, yeah. So Fabian, Wolfman Jack, Tommy Rowe. Oh, Sweet Pea, come on and dance with me. Yeah. In
fact, I just sold that album a month ago. I let go of a lot of my albums. I bought it on the RCA Record Club. Remember those?
Yeah.
You'd pay like twice the retail price.
Of course. And just to go down the list quickly, Joey Mullen, Sonny Geraci from the Outsiders. You know, it's funny about Sonny Geraci, he was with Climax as well. So we had Precious a Few, and they
Yeah.
also had Time Won't Let Me with the Outsiders. And he had both songs going on at the same time with two different groups, which was
Wow.
kind of amazing. And we we had the pleasure of backing him up a number of times before his passing. He had some kind of something going on in his brain. I don't know, some brain aneurysm or something. But I believe the story went where he fell at home and hit his head on some furniture and fell into a coma and never came out of it. And he ended up passing, which was a drag for us because we had
Yeah.
a bunch of shows lined up with Sonny involved in it. Just
Oh,
a great guy, great person.
oh, I'm
And,
sorry.
I believe when that happened to him, he had gotten a deal for I think two of his kids that were into music as well, and they had just signed onto the Lady Gaga of the record label. So, and then this happens to him. So that was, kind of disappointing. But anyway,
Oh,
Denny
really
Lane, Barry
sad.
Sylvester from the Hollies, Dennis Stefano of the Buckinghams, Rona Bennett from the group In Vogue, Pat Vegas from Redbone, Mitch Ryder, Cub Coda, Gary U.S. Bonds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we also played on the same stage with Gary Lewis and the Playboys. He always had his own band, so we really didn't back him up, but they shared this. They were on some of the same stages that we were on. The Flamingos, Peter Noon, Lynn Barry, the Jordanaires, Ron Dante, and of course my cousin Chris Montez.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about Ron Dante. What a talented guy.
Oh my God, that guy has just been involved in everything. Of course, you know as well as I do, produced a lot of the Barry Manilow stuff, Copacabana, and everything else that
All the
came out.
big hits.
Oh, of course, and a slew of other people as well. I believe Pat Benatar and I mentioned it earlier to you back in the day, all those cigarette commercials we used to see on TV.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
a long time ago.
he was writing all those jingles for all those cigarette smokers out there, and so a
Uh,
very talented cat. Yeah.
wow. That's incredible. So, when did you start playing the drums?
I started playing at the age of 7. I was
There
showing
you go.
interest when I was about 6 years old, taking my dad's old paint sticks and using those as drumsticks and hitting empty paint cans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then for Christmas one day, my mother bought me from Sears and Roebuck the St. George metal flake snare because I didn't play on a kit for the whole first year. All I did is play snare drum. So I was learning rudiments and sticking and getting all that stuff down. And the second Christmas, I finally got a kind of a mini drum set and kind of started growing from there. Yeah.
What's it like being a professional musician your whole life?
The good of it or the bad of it?
Give me both.
Okay, well,
Well, give me the bad first. What's the worst part of it? I'm guessing it's the travel.
I was going to absolutely do that. Give you the worst first.
Yeah.
So basically, going every band that starts off, we're learning in a garage, getting their material together. Maybe the first year or two, you're kind of working out all your little bugs and stuff, and that's kind of like what happened with Cannibal. And before you know it, you find yourself on a stage with maybe some artists that you're a fan of, and that's how it was for me. I was a huge fan of the Monkees as well.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
getting to play with Mickey was like, wow. It was
Yeah. What was that? Yeah. What was that like? What, you said he hadn't played for a long time, right?
yeah, no, he had been living in London for quite a number of years. I think 11 years, and producing TV shows and doing things like that over there. I don't think
Mhm.
he was really performing that much. But when he joined the 30 years of rock and roll tour is when he I'm sure he had a little rust, but he got right into the swing of things immediately. And
I see the poster behind you. Who was
yeah,
on that? Who was on that tour?
that's the 30 years of rock and roll tour. That Mickey Dolenz is the headliner act, so that's the first one. The Tokens, Jerry Corbetta from Sugarloaf, of course, Cannibal and the Headhunters because we backed up everybody. And Bobby Boris Pickett, who had the Monster Mash.
I
And
was working in the lab.
he was a blast. That
Was he
cat,
really?
well, he was an actor too. He lived in New York and he did a lot of acting,
Huh.
especially theater acting. And he was very,
Bigger
theater.
than life.
Yeah, exactly. And he would dress up in a laboratory kind of coat with this big, huge spider on his shoulder, and he had a little pump for it. So while he was singing, you would see the spider hop on his shoulder. Well, those little toy pump spider things,
Yeah, yeah.
he would do that kind of thing during this portion of the show.
Oh my
But
God.
also Al Wilson and Jill Akins and Tiny Tim was on the tour with us as well, which he was
Tiptoe through the tulips.
he was great, man. He would
Yeah.
just he would after a show we'd want to go hang out at a bar or something, and he would set up glasses of beer with a straw in them and just go down the line. And he was just great to get drunk with. It was a blast. His thing was
Yeah.
Pepsi and a large Domino pizza. That
Oh,
was his thing.
okay.
Every time, every day, or wherever we're at a certain hotel, you would notice outside of one of the doors a bunch of empty pizza, a bunch of empty a 6-pack of Pepsi, and a big, huge container of an empty pizza box. We knew that
Nice.
was Tiny's room.
Oh my gosh.
That was his
Hey, look,
thing.
I got a ton of questions to ask you. Let's take a break. You mentioned touring with Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. I was a big fan too, like all of us watching you right now on the show. I was a childhood musician, never got to the level that you are. And I had my mom buy me Yardley cologne because that was the big sponsor of the show. And I thought, well, if I have Yardley cologne, maybe I'll have a better chance.
Yeah.
Robert, it didn't work out.
Well, you got to smell
know?
good too.
Yeah, but at least I smelled good. Yeah. Well,
Exactly.
look, let's get to Mickey Dolenz of the Monkees with Cannibal and the Headhunters. You're backing them up, and I know you're going to recognize this song. Here we go.
Get it.
Wow. Mickey Dolenz doing I'm Not Your Stepping Stone
Yeah.
with
Another
you playing
great
drums.
bit.
You
Another
ever
great.
have moments when you're playing with these people and you go, I grew up listening to this music, or I was grown up listening to this music, and now I'm part of their show.
Yeah, yeah. You know what's funny is during the tour, well, when Mickey first got on, I asked him, are any of these songs you're going to want to play drums on any of them? He goes, "Oh no, 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 no. You're going to play drums on them." I had to learn how to play drums for what we were doing back then. He's really a guitar player. That's what he.
Okay.
You'll see him front the band without a guitar, but he also plays guitar as well. But I think the drums were an instrument that was kind of forced on him because of the TV show and all that stuff that they had to
Yeah.
do that.
What
Yeah.
was he what's he like?
What was he like?
Yeah.
Oh, he was a great guy at first. I would say, he didn't know us. Of course, we knew him. And when you meet somebody and that's gone through a lot of things that Mickey has, there's a little intimidation there. We don't know how he likes to be treated or all that. So it was a bit. I wouldn't say rough or anything like that, but the getting to know each other, it took like a couple of weeks to kind of melt together.
Mhm.
And then he just kind of became one of the guys in the band and having fun on the tour bus, traveling from one place to another. And,
Yeah.
so yeah, yeah, basically that, that, on the star wall kind of came down and he just became one of the guys in the band. And
That's
that was
nice to hear.
yeah.
I'd imagine that he's recognized a lot walking down the street.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I mean, the guy's been everywhere in the world. His face has been everywhere in the world.
And he's the last remaining monkey.
Yeah, he's the last monkey, and
Um,
yeah, and he's still out there doing his thing, sounding great and having fun with it. So
yeah.
that's what I hope that I get out of this too, that I can do it until either I physically or mentally can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah,
So that same era of music, since I was born in 56, I'm just a little bit younger than you are. You're 70, right? Yeah. So Peter Noon, you backed him up. Tell me the story about the first time he started singing with you. He had no idea how good you were. And when he walked up, he kind of judged your group a little bit just by looking at you, right?
we got that from a number of artists because we're all a Mexican American group
Yeah.
out of East LA, and sometimes in these circles of different bands, color plays a large role, and which is kind of weird because we're all just making music.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple of things that went on like that, and I spoke to the producer about it, Ron Kurtz, when these things would happen, and before I would have a few choice words to say about it. Basically got to the point where I promised Ron I wouldn't say a word and I'd just let our playing do the talking. So we
Yeah.
just got into rehearsals with these people and started doing our thing. And when they heard the band, it was like, okay, thumbs up.
You mentioned to me the other day that he said something like he stopped everybody. He said,
Oh,
"Find me
that
a
was
band."
that was Peter Noon. We played at I don't even know if he remembers this, but because he's done so many things. But for us as a band that's backing up different artists, not only doing our own thing, but and not only do we only want to get our show nice and tight, we want to be great for everybody that we're backing up. So
Yeah.
we really pay attention to all the small things that count in a song. So we are doing the Sky Dome in Toronto, and we're going through sound check, and we're playing. I think the song is called Lamppost, and
I'm leaning on the lamp. Uh,
yeah,
it's on the album Hold On. I have it.
start playing it, and he's digging it, and he's singing it, and finally just puts his hands up and stops the band, and says, and my horrible English accent, "Thank God we got a real band here today," and we were just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, okay, we're doing our thing."
Yeah.
So and that's good to hear. It's
Oh
encouraging,
yeah.
and I mean, even when we played, we did the Riverfest in Minneapolis with Chuck Berry. We did the Shreveport, Louisiana State,
Really?
Jerry Lee Lewis and
Played with Chuck. You played with Chuck Berry and Jerry Lee Lewis?
yeah, Jerry Lee Lewis and Chuck Berry, Little Anthony, James Burton was on guitar, and so it's and
Oh.
Chuck Berry took us out to breakfast the next day. He took us all out to breakfast, and we sat there with him, and he was telling stories, and I don't even remember half of the stuff that we were talking about, but it was just really joyful, and everybody in a party mood. But it was just a great time. He he walked up on stage with a kind of a 007 attaché case, a silver one, and it goes up. From what I heard, goes up to the promoter, tells the promoter, "Before I go on, you got to fill this case with the money you're supposed to pay me." So they put his money in his briefcase. He takes it up on stage, puts it right next to his amp, does his thing, and walks off with his briefcase. So it was that kind of thing with him, which we found very funny, and it was like amazing to see that because I'm sure he got taken a lot in his early years, and
Yeah.
it wasn't going to happen anymore.
Right.
So yeah, that was funny to see.
Wow. Okay. So what's the best part of being a professional musician?
The
Very,
best
very
part
best part.
the very best part is that you get to see a lot of different parts of this world,
Yeah.
and somebody's paying for your airfare.
And like you said earlier when I mentioned to you, and you're doing what you love. You really are. You have lived your passion your whole life.
Doing what I love, yeah. I mean, the house I live in, of course, my wife and we bought it together, but it
Yeah.
all
Let's
happened
let's
behind
say
the.
hi to your wife.
Renee, yeah, she's
Yeah.
in.
Hi, Renee.
Yeah,
So you guys have been together 55 years.
yeah. Well, 50, well,
Married 51.
married 50, but together 55 years. Yeah,
So your anniversary's coming up, huh?
51 years in February 23rd. Yeah.
Wow. That's
So
so cool.
she's been through the thick and thin of it with me as well. Even when I brought work home when I shouldn't have, in a real bitchy mood, and just because something went wrong, and
Yeah.
you know, we're human and we make mistakes.
Yeah. No, everyone does.
Yeah.
What so I know that you get the charts from the artists, but you're the overall musical leader of the band,
Basically, if you
right?
want to call it MD, music director,
Yeah.
that's
So do you occasionally make changes going, I think, you should play that a little harder, maybe a little bit louder, or maybe a little
yeah,
you
yeah.
make those.
Yeah, the great thing about my band is that we all think in that same frame. That if there's something that's just not quite balanced out, we bring it up because we want it to be as perfect as we can get it.
Yeah.
But basically, I kind of like just put everything together, and I don't consider myself an MD whatsoever. It's any kind of music director. I just kind of facilitate the things that should
Yeah.
happen.
How
And,
your current band, how many years have they been together?
uh,
Have you had many changes?
well, there's been personnel changes throughout the years. Oh, definitely. Over
Yeah.
next year is the group's 60th anniversary for Cannibal and Headhunters. So in 60 years, there's been quite a number of deaths and personnel changes as well.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's part of life as well.
Yeah.
But the people I have now are a bunch of I would say 5 of my best friends. We meet a lot of people in our life, and the ones that you can really count on, you could probably count them on one hand. So I
That's
think
for
it
sure.
goes for everybody. So there's a lot of acquaintances, and a lot of people like to talk. And my line is anybody could say what they want until they have to prove it. So yeah, but
Yeah.
these 5 guys are dedicated musicians. Carl Carrasco has been with me over 35 years. Dave Goldstein, 25 years. George Garcia, I think 46 years now, because he was with us
Wow.
back in the 70s. And
Wow.
the singer that took Cannibal's place is a guy by the name of Charlie Munoz, who was doing a phenomenal job stepping in Frankie's shoes, and Dave Goldstein. So Dave Goldstein is the alien of the band.
He's the alien?
The alien. They would call us aliens.
Explain.
He's the alien, Dave Goldstein. So we call him that, but we consider him our Latin brother, brown
Yeah.
on the inside,
And
white
he's
on the.
also the accountant of the band.
Exactly.
There you go. Hey, let's take another break. We're going to take you to the Whiskey A Go Go. Robert Zapata Cannibal and the Headhunters doing the song that kicked it all off for them, Land of a Thousand Dances. Robert, if you don't mind, kick it off. Count it down.
1, 2, 3. Let's go, baby.
I feel all right, children. I feel all right. right there feels good too. Come on, everybody, put your hands together. I said, come on, everybody, come and clap with me. I said, come on, everybody, come and clap with me. I said, oh, na 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 na. Come on, everybody, sing along. Na 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 na. Sing it one more time. Na 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 na. You gotta know I'm bumping. You're like a bone around it. Mashed potato to the alligator. Roll them on your back, yeah. Just say I like it like that. Really get your yo-yo. Well, come on and let it go. Hey! I said, oh, na 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 na. Come on, everybody. Na 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 na. Sing it one more time. Na 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 na. You gotta know how to jerk. Well, come on and let it work. You gotta know how to jangle. Well, come on and do the tango. I said, do what you say. Come on and do what you say. I said, clap your hands. Come on and clap your hands. Come on and move your feet. We're going to the beat. Is everybody having a good time? Yeah. I said, oh, na 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 na. Come on. Sing it one more time. I said, oh, bye-bye, baby. I said, bye-bye, baby. I said, bye-bye, baby. Goodbye. I said, bye-bye, baby. Goodbye. All right. Thank you.
What was it like playing at the Whiskey A Go Go?
It brought back some really cool memories. I remember seeing Chicago there when Terry Kath was still playing with Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Then,
Wow.
of course, the Beatles were at the Whiskey. They didn't perform there, but they have a Beatles corner upstairs, up on top there, where they all sat and hung out, and they kind of call it Beatles Corner. But the
And that's
Whiskey,
where Elton John started.
of course, I mean, the Whiskey is a very famous, venue, and everybody who's anybody has obviously wanted to play there or have played there already. So we've been pretty fortunate to play there as
I
well.
remember when I was, I was a wannabe musician as a kid, and I'm, you know what, I'm going to try it again in my old age. But I remember getting really excited about playing a certain venue. Like I was from that era from the 1966, where I played custom car shows. And it was
Right.
like, we're in the battle of the bands.
Yeah, right.
And it was so exciting.
Right.
What is the most incredible venue that you've ever played in that you really got excited to be there?
And I didn't know it was going to be this exciting until I saw the number of people that were there. It's got to be in Charleston, West Virginia. It was an event called the Regatta, if I'm pronouncing it right. and we played for probably the largest audience we've ever played for in our entire lives, even from the beginning of Cannibal and Headhunters.
Yeah.
133,000 people were
Oh
out
my
there,
gosh.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday event, and it was just a sea of heads going as far as you can see. The stage was maybe, I don't know, 15, 20 feet off the ground, so you could see over everybody. It was an
Yeah.
amazing. We had no idea it was going to turn out that way, but it was just an amazing event.
Are you
that-
going to write a book about your musical memories, your memoirs?
You're probably you know, there's been hundreds of people that have asked me that question, and I actually started something. I do have a beginning of a book, and I'm going to need some help with it. I never attempt to write a book, so you know, piecing it all together is going to be something new for me. So I have some
Yeah.
people to go to that can, you know, help me along so it's done correctly. But it's going to be basically, you know, I don't even know what it's going to be called. You know, a drummer's life or something. I don't know. But there's just a lot of crazy, amazing stories. And of course, when I go back and start looking at all the photos I have, it starts bringing back all these things, and I can get them on paper. So I'm going
Sure.
through that process right now. You know?
Tell us about the show that's coming up on the 23rd in Temecula. Big show.
Yeah, 2023, September 23rd, the California Music Hall of Fame. Our group, not only our group, but a slew of other artists, Rick Derringer, Joey Mullen, Terry Sylvester, Dennis Stefano, all these people, and Chuck Negron as well from Three Dog Night are going to be inducted into the California Music Hall of Fame. And we're excited to do that, and also pleased that we got asked to be inducted. So, you know, we're looking forward to that. And the funny thing is that when we got asked and we saw all the people that were involved, we toured with almost everybody that's been inducted. So not only are we being inducted, we're going to back up all the acts playing all their number one hits with them as well.
They're blessed to have you.
Oh, I think we're all blessed to be with each other on the same stage and actually make it happen again, because we've done it many times over and over. In fact, I have a CD where we backed up. Bobby Kimball was on the tour for about 2 or 3 years, and I had it in a cassette. And I was going through stuff, and I found it, and it dates from July of 1990 at the Hilton Flamingo in Laughlin, Nevada. And I took it to a buddy of mine, Brian, in Burbank, California, and he converted it from cassette onto a disc, and he did some magic because it sounds just really super great.
Really? Oh, I'd love to
I
hear
have
that.
a lot of great memories with that, backing up Bobby doing Hold the Line, Rosanna, and you know, a lot of the Toto stuff. So
And of course, Hold the Line starts with your snare beat.
yeah, you know what I mean? And so
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
we're gonna tear that up, and the audio's great. And you know what was cool about the 30 years of rock and roll tour is that there was so many different acts going from R&B soul to rhythm and blues to rock and roll to the Monkees kind of, you know, pop
Yeah.
bubble type material,
Yeah.
Archies, and then Tiny Tim. What was great about that is that in a split second, we had to shift our mind from doing Toto Hold the Line to, you know, Tiptoe Through the Tulips with Tiny Tim. And then from Tiptoe Through the Tulips to I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, Pleasant Valley Sunday, or even Going
Yeah.
Down with Mickey Dolenz, you know,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then jumping to Mitch Ryder doing Devil with a Blue Dress and Sock It To Me and all those tunes, and then
Oh,
going
man.
to Spooky and Stormy. And so we had to switch from style to style, which was, we benefited from all that. It
Yeah.
just made us better players and more aware of how to switch on a dime when you need to do that. And
You must be in good shape, because the hardest working guy in that band is you, the drummer.
yeah, I think every drummer probably has it's a physical, drums is a physical instrument.
Yes, it is.
And there's a certain breathing pattern you got to have when you play. You know, I've noticed and seen other guys when they go to execute something fancy, they hold their they hold their breath and bear down while they execute it, and then at the end of it, they take their breath and they find themselves a little lightheaded or trying to catch their breath. The whole process of playing drums is you got to keep breathing through every execution, through every riff or whatever it is you're doing. The breathing pattern shouldn't stop. You need
Did
air.
you ever take lessons?
I never took lessons up until I was about 23. Everything I've learned up until that point was all by ear. And then I went back to school to East Los Angeles Community College and took a lot of my music courses there. And that's where I started picking up on, reading and basically just seeing on paper what I've been playing all along.
Sure.
how it
So
looks.
this big show that's coming up on the 23rd in Temecula, it's the Golden Bear Theater, which is actually at a school, right?
Yeah, it's on the Temecula High School grounds, but it's a
Okay.
really nice theater, a beautiful theater inside, and there's not a bad seat in the house. No matter where you sit, you're going to have a really great view and a great sound from the audio that's in the building. So it's going to
Oh,
be nice.
nice. Now I know the seats are still available, not the front row VIP. When you
Yeah.
click on the site, you're going to think, "Oh my gosh, they're all gone."
Yeah,
But there's
no,
still quite a few good seats in. As you said, there's not a bad seat in the house.
you bet. There's plenty of tickets left. If you go on the CaliforniaMusicHallOfFame.com and you
Mhm.
see something that's sold out there, scroll a little bit. Those sold out seats are all the VIP stuff. There's plenty of seats left. And I'm sorry about that. And there's not a bad seat in the house.
Oh, and I need to point out the seats are only $39.
Yes,
And the handling fee is only $5.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to get ready to mention that, but yes, they brought the ticket price down because obviously we want a full house. We want
Yeah,
everybody to come in and have the best time ever.
yeah.
And we're going to have a dessert guy there, a kind of vendor outside the building that makes all these great fancy desserts, kind of like the stuff you see at Disneyland. So
Oh,
that's
really?
going to be great for a lot of audience people that are going to be there to have some of that prior to the event starting. He'll be there from I think 10:30 in the morning, 11 o'clock on. And yeah, so that'll be something great for the people as well. So
And you're doing a VIP meet and greet at the end?
yes, there is going to be a meet and greet at the end of the ceremony. The announcer will be announcing after the ceremony is completed that everybody to exit the building and form a line outside in front of the main doors leading into the lobby area, and they'll be letting a certain amount of people in at a time so they can keep control of, because sometimes it get very chaotic, so they
Sure,
want to make sure
sure.
it's done in a really nice fashion and nobody's, being pushy and shovey and that kind of thing. But yeah, it's going to be a great thing for that as well.
Robert Sabata, musical royalty,
Oh my God.
like the Dodgers are in baseball. No, I'm in San Diego. It's the Padres, and the Dodgers always have our number, except for last year.
I know.
Not to bring up a war wound,
I know.
but how many games ahead in first place are you at this point of the season? I can't even look.
No, I can't remember. My wife's on top of that, but yeah, did they win last night? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember if they did or not. I don't know, but yeah, I think their pitching staff is having a problem a little bit.
You know what? They're the Dodgers. They'll
Urias,
overcome.
Urias got in trouble, and
Yeah.
that shouldn't happen.
Okay. We'll see you on the 23rd in Temecula, Golden Bear Theater. Get your tickets. Robert, I hope you come back sometime. I feel like I've known you my whole life. You're good people.
Oh, well, thank you, Matt. I'd love to come back anytime you'd like to have me. Again, I want to mention everybody get your tickets for the California Music Hall of Fame at the CaliforniaMusicHallOfFame.com, and there are tickets available. So don't believe what you read there at the top. Scroll down and buy your tickets.
Sounds good. Robert, have a great night. Thanks again.
Thank you so much, Gary.
God bless you and your family.
Thank you so much. God bless you as well.